There exists a struggle within the heart of many, a deep internal fire that no one speaks about. It is a kind of burning that is felt in the silence after prayer, in the quiet moments of reflection, and during the stillness of the night. It is not hunger, it is not loneliness, and it is not confusion, though it may feel like all of these things combined. It is something much deeper, something more primal and raw. It is the intense, overwhelming force of sexual desire, a force that many feel but few dare to talk about. It is something that seems to lurk in the shadows, never quite acknowledged in churches, never fully addressed in families, and rarely discussed in spiritual circles. And yet this desire, this burning, is a part of the human experience that cannot be avoided. It exists in the body, in the soul, and in the mind, regardless of how much one may try to suppress it or deny it. What makes this struggle even more complex is the way society and religion have twisted the understanding of desire. It is often labeled as shameful, sinful, or something that must be fought at all costs. For many, the experience of sexual desire is laden with guilt, confusion, and a sense of impurity. People wrestle with it often in isolation, hoping that if they suppress it long enough it will disappear. But no matter how hard they try, this force continues to rise stronger and more persistent each time. It is a force that cannot be ignored or easily eliminated. It does not simply fade away with prayer or self-discipline. Instead, it returns uninvited, unexplained, and seemingly out of control. And for many, this leaves them wondering, why does this desire feel so intense? Why does it seem so uncontrollable? What does it mean about me? Am I broken? Am I flawed? But here is the truth that so many never hear. This desire is not a curse. It is not a sign of weakness or moral failure. It is part of a divine design, a sacred flame that has been placed within you for a reason. If you are one of the chosen, if you have ever felt the weight of this desire more intensely than others, then listen closely. You are not weak because you feel this way. You are not impure because this fire burns within you. In fact, you are being called to something greater than yourself, something that requires strength, wisdom, and mastery. For the chosen ones, this desire is not just a biological impulse, it is a spiritual force, a test, a challenge meant to reveal the depths of your inner strength. It is part of your unique calling placed within you, not to destroy you, but to forge you into something greater. You see, the intensity of this desire, the way it rises uncontrollably, is not a punishment or a flaw. It is a marker of your divine mission, a signal that you are being prepared for something extraordinary. Those who are chosen are not chosen because they are perfect or pure by the world's standards. They are chosen because they have the strength to bear this fire, to wrestle with it, and to master it. This fire, this desire is not here to break you down. It is here to show you who you truly are. It is a test, but it is also an invitation. It calls you to a higher level of mastery, a higher level of control, and a higher level of understanding. The world may try to tell you that this desire is something to be ashamed of, that it is something that must be buried or denied. But for those who are truly chosen, the journey is not about suppression. It is about transformation. It is about learning to understand this desire, to honor it, and to use it as a source of power. And this dear chosen one is where the real challenge lies. The world will try to distract you. It will try to convince you that desire is something that should be satisfied in fleeting moments, that it is just a temporary craving that can be extinguished with momentary pleasure. It will tell you that this desire is nothing more than a physical urge, and it will do everything it can to make you numb to its deeper meaning. But you, the chosen one, are different. You feel this fire in ways that others cannot understand, because it is not just a desire for the flesh. It is a longing for something far greater. It is a longing for purpose, for connection, for divine alignment. This desire, this sacred fire, is the key to unlocking your highest potential. The world will try to tell you that this desire is something to be ashamed of, something that makes you less holy, less pure, less worthy. But this is a lie. Your sexual desire is not a mistake. It is not a flaw. It is a divine spark, a force that has been placed inside of you to ignite your purpose. The struggle you feel is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you are being prepared for something greater. And it is not a struggle that you are meant to fight on your own. It is a battle, yes, but it is a battle that is designed to strengthen you, to teach you, and to elevate you to a higher level of spiritual mastery. You are not here by accident. You are not experiencing this desire by chance. It is part of your divine journey, a final test before your full awakening. And when you embrace it, when you stop running from it and start transmuting it into power, you will realize that this fire was never meant to burn you down. It was always meant to awaken the divine within you. So take a deep breath and let this truth sink in. You are chosen. This desire that feels so overwhelming, so uncontrollable, is not a curse. It is your invitation to step into your power. It is the final test for the chosen ones, and you have the strength to pass it. There is a fire that burns quietly within a flame that exists in the deepest, most private recesses of the soul. It is a fire that cannot be seen by others, yet it is felt so profoundly by those who carry it. This fire does not announce itself with loud cries or destructive bursts. Instead, it whispers in the silence, in the quiet moments when the mind is still and the body longs for connection. It is the relentless force of sexual desire, a force that for many feels impossible to escape. It is not something that can be wished away or ignored, no matter how deeply one tries to bury it. It lingers quietly, persistent, always present, sometimes gently nudging, sometimes raging like a storm inside. For many, this desire is a source of shame. It is something that is often concealed, hidden behind closed doors, never spoken of in the light of day. In religious and spiritual circles, it is often viewed with suspicion, labeled as sinful, impure, or even dangerous. People are taught to fear it, to suppress it, to hide it, as if it were a flaw in their character, a mark of weakness or imperfection. They are told that to feel this desire is to be broken, to be unholy, and that the only way to find peace is to quench it, to silence it, to make it disappear. So they try, they push it away, they ignore it. They convince themselves that if they pray hard enough, if they meditate enough, if they are disciplined enough, the desire will simply fade, leaving them pure and untouched. But it does not fade. No matter how much one tries to deny it, no matter how much effort is poured into ignoring it, the desire always finds its way back. It may be quieter at times, hidden behind distractions, but it always returns uninvited, unyielding. And for many, this can feel like a curse. Why does this desire not go away? Why does it rise again when they thought they had conquered it? Why does it seem so uncontrollable, so overpowering? These questions lead to a sense of confusion, of frustration, and often of guilt. People begin to wonder if they are broken, if they are inherently flawed, if they are somehow unworthy of the divine calling they feel within themselves. But here is the truth that is often overlooked. This desire is not here to harm you. It is not a punishment. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is in fact a signal. It is a divine invitation, a call to something deeper, something greater. This desire, this fire within, is not meant to break you down or destroy your spirit. It is meant to reveal you to yourself. It is a force that has been placed within you not by accident but by divine design. It exists to help you uncover your true nature, to show you the strength, the power, and the purpose that lies hidden beneath the surface. The conflict that arises between this physical desire and the spiritual shame is where much of the struggle lies. On one side there is the body, with its intense cravings, its biological urges, and its desire for pleasure, connection, and intimacy. On the other side, there is the spirit often conditioned by religious or societal teachings to view this desire as something shameful, something to be controlled or avoided at all costs. This creates a battleground within where the body and the spirit are at odds with one another, each pulling in different directions. The body says, "I want this, I need this," while the spirit says, "You must resist, you must deny this part of yourself to remain holy." This internal conflict can be overwhelming, leaving many feeling torn between two opposing forces, one that seeks to express and experience, and one that urges them to suppress and subdue. But what if this battle is not one you are meant to lose? What if the conflict itself is the very thing that is meant to reveal your true calling? What if the desire that you feel is not a flaw to be eradicated, but a gift to be understood, embraced, and mastered? This desire is not a test of weakness, but a test of strength. It is a call to awaken the power that lies dormant within you, to turn the fire of desire into a force that propels you forward on your spiritual path rather than one that leads you astray. The key is not in resisting it or denying it, but in understanding it and learning to use it to fuel your purpose. The chosen ones. Those who are meant to walk a path of divine purpose are given this fire because they are capable of transmuting it. They are not chosen because they are perfect, but because they are willing to face their desires head-on, to wrestle with the fire and not be consumed by it. They are chosen because they have the strength to walk through the flames and emerge stronger, clearer, and more aligned with their true purpose. This desire, as intense as it may feel, is not meant to destroy them. It is meant to refine them, to burn away the impurities, and to leave behind a soul that is pure, focused, and ready to step into its divine calling. The body's desires, when understood correctly, are not a threat to the spirit. They are a part of the spirit's expression on earth. The desire for connection, for intimacy, for love, is a natural, sacred part of the human experience. These desires are not random. They are encoded in the body as part of a greater design, a design that is meant to bring you closer to your true self. But when these desires are misunderstood, when they are viewed through the lens of shame or guilt, they become distorted. They become distractions, pulling you away from your purpose rather than guiding you toward it. This is why the chosen ones are called to master this fire, to transmute the raw energy of desire into something higher, something divine. As you begin to embrace your desire not as a curse but as a divine tool, something profound begins to shift within you. The internal battle between body and spirit starts to dissolve, and you begin to see the desire for what it truly is, an invitation. It is not an enemy to be fought, but a key to unlocking the next level of your spiritual journey. The fire that once threatened to consume you now becomes the very thing that fuels your ascension, your clarity, and your divine mission. The desire within you is not something to fear. It is a force to be understood, respected, and ultimately mastered. It is a part of your calling, a final test before your full awakening. The world may try to distract you with fleeting pleasures, with empty promises of satisfaction, but the truth is that the fire you carry is sacred. It is a sign of your divine purpose, a proof that you are capable of walking a path that few can follow. The struggle you feel is not a punishment. It is a sign that you are being forged, prepared for the greatness that awaits. This is not just a physical desire. It is a spiritual one, a call to the highest version of yourself. You are not meant to run from the fire. You are meant to rise through it. Sexual desire is often misinterpreted in the world and in religious teachings. It is frequently buried under layers of shame and guilt, misrepresented as something sinful, something to be ashamed of. Society, with its deep-rooted traditions and doctrines, has long held the belief that sexual desire is inherently impure, something that must be controlled, suppressed, or even eradicated to maintain holiness. These teachings often come with a heavy weight, as many are taught from a young age that to desire is to be flawed, that to feel attraction is to be less than spiritual, to be lesser than one's divine calling. In the eyes of many, the desire itself is the enemy. The world speaks of it as a temptation, something that leads people astray, something that brings shame and dishonor. In religious teachings, this misinterpretation becomes even more pronounced. Many faiths, with their emphasis on celibacy, chastity, or the renunciation of worldly pleasures, have created a culture of silence and guilt around sexual desire. The body, which is an inherent part of the human experience, is often viewed as a source of corruption. The feelings that arise within it, especially sexual feelings, are seen as distractions from spiritual pursuits. The result: a generation of people raised to fear their own desires, to believe that they are impure, and to seek to silence or repress them as a means of gaining spiritual purity. The intense battle that many face, fighting the very instincts and desires that are a natural part of life, creates a profound sense of shame and confusion. And in this shame, the true purpose of desire is lost. However, for those who are chosen, this desire is not an enemy, but an invitation. It is a call to something higher. It is not merely a biological impulse, as many have been taught, but a spiritual battle, one that involves the refinement of the soul. This battle is not against the desire itself, but against the misunderstanding of it. The desire you feel, the longing that stirs deep within your being, is not here to destroy you. It is here to awaken something powerful within you. For the chosen ones, sexual desire is not a temptation to fall into. It is a test, a sacred flame that needs to be refined into strength, into purpose. When we begin to look at this desire through a spiritual lens, we understand that it is a force much greater than biology. It is a call to action, a call to master the most powerful energies of the body and direct them toward a higher purpose. The chosen ones are gifted with this fire because they have the strength to wield it wisely. The fire is not meant to burn them out. It is meant to refine them, to elevate them to the next stage of their divine mission. This fire, while intense, is not something to be avoided. It is something to be nurtured, respected, and understood. The task for the chosen is not to quench this fire, but to transform it into a force that propels them forward on their spiritual journey. Desire, when harnessed and refined, becomes a powerful tool for spiritual growth. It is a force that can create clarity, deepen one's connection to the divine, and ignite the path to fulfilling one's true purpose. But in order to reach this higher level of mastery, the chosen ones must first wrestle with the fire. They must face their desire head-on and learn not to be consumed by it, but to direct it toward a greater calling. The body, when used as a vessel for divine energy, becomes an instrument of transformation. It is no longer the source of shame, but the source of power. It becomes the very channel through which divine energy flows, through which creation happens. For those who are chosen, this battle with desire is not a random occurrence. It is part of a divine design, a sacred blueprint placed within them long before they were born. The intensity of their desires is not a mistake. It is a marker of their purpose, a sign that they have been entrusted with a greater mission. This mission is not one that is always visible or understood by others, but it is deeply felt by the chosen ones. It is a mission that requires strength, discipline, and a willingness to transmute the most intense human experiences into spiritual power. The divine mission that comes with carrying such intense desire is not to simply endure it, nor to suppress it. It is to understand it, to honor it, and to learn to master it. This mission requires the chosen ones to transmute their desire into something greater, something that serves not only themselves, but the world around them. Sexual desire in this sense is not just about personal pleasure or gratification. It is about spiritual creation, about channeling powerful energies toward a higher purpose. The chosen ones are called to direct this energy into their work, into their relationships, and into their divine calling. They are called to be creators in the truest sense, to channel the energy that flows through them into the world in a way that is pure, intentional, and transformative. This mission is not without its challenges. The temptation to succumb to base desires, to give in to fleeting moments of pleasure, is always present. The world, with its distractions, its empty promises, and its distorted views of desire, makes it easy to lose sight of the greater purpose. But the chosen ones are not meant to follow the crowd. They are meant to walk a different path, a path that requires awareness, discipline, and mastery. They are called to rise above the distractions, to see through the illusions, and to direct their energies toward their higher calling. This is not an easy task. It requires a deep commitment to personal growth, to spiritual development, and to the divine mission that has been placed within them. But for those who are chosen, this is the path of true power. It is the path that leads to clarity, to purpose, and to the fulfillment of their divine destiny. The fire of desire, when understood and mastered, becomes the light that guides them forward, illuminating the way toward a higher purpose and a greater connection to the divine. The mission is clear: to transmute this desire into a force for good, to use it as a tool for spiritual awakening, and to align one's actions with the divine will. This is the sacred purpose of the chosen ones, to not be enslaved by their desires, but to rise above them, to channel them toward their divine calling, and to live a life of purpose, power, and spiritual mastery. The desire you feel is not a curse. It is the divine invitation to become the person you were always meant to be. The desire that burns within you, though sacred and divine, does not always announce itself with clarity. Often it manifests in moments of subtle vulnerability, when your spirit feels tired, lonely, or bored. These feelings can seem deceptively harmless, almost like fleeting emotions that come and go. But make no mistake, these seemingly benign moments are fertile ground for temptation. When you are weary, when your heart is heavy with loneliness, or when your mind is occupied with the mundane and the ordinary, the fire within you begins to rise. It calls out not with a roar, but with a whisper, soft, persistent, almost unnoticeable at first. Loneliness, for example, is one of the most common ways in which this desire emerges. When you feel disconnected from others, when you long for companionship or affection, the yearning for intimacy can seem like a natural human response. But it is in these very moments that the desire, if left unchecked, can lead you astray. The longing for connection, for warmth, for understanding, can become distorted, turning into an impulse to seek out temporary distractions that do not serve your higher purpose. It might seem harmless, a harmless escape from the discomfort of solitude, a momentary lapse in focus. But the temptation to soothe your loneliness through fleeting pleasures is a trap, one that distracts you from the truth of what you really need, connection with your higher self and with the divine. Similarly, boredom can be another subtle entry point for this desire. When the mind is idle and the spirit is not fully engaged, the desire for something stimulating can arise. It might present itself as a craving for excitement, for adventure, or even for something as simple as entertainment. And while there is nothing inherently wrong with seeking enjoyment or amusement, when this desire is used to fill the emptiness within it, can lead you down a path of distraction. The pull of the physical world becomes louder, and the sacred flame within you, the one that is meant to be focused on your divine purpose, begins to flicker and waver. You start to chase the next fleeting pleasure, the next burst of excitement, only to find that it leaves you empty and unfulfilled, craving more. Tiredness, too, is a breeding ground for temptation. When you are physically or mentally exhausted, your defenses are lower, and the desire can feel more overwhelming. It is in these moments that the battle becomes most intense. The desire doesn't shout at you, it gently nudges, promising that giving in will offer rest, relief, or escape. You may feel justified in seeking comfort or distraction, as if your weariness warrants it. But the truth is, this is where the real challenge begins. The fire within you seeks to be channeled, not extinguished. It is in these moments of fatigue that you must rise, not by giving in to the temptation for momentary relief, but by recognizing the deeper spiritual truth. This desire is a test. The challenge of the chosen ones lies not in the absence of desire, but in the way they respond to it. Spiritual warfare is not always dramatic. It is often subtle, hidden in plain sight, cloaked in moments of vulnerability, like loneliness, boredom, and tiredness. The enemy does not always come in the form of grand temptations or life-altering decisions. More often, it is in the quiet, unnoticed distractions, the little whispers that pull your focus away from your true path. Temptation, then, is not just an external force trying to derail you, it is an internal test, an opportunity for you to prove your commitment to your higher purpose. It is easy to think of temptation as something that exists only outside of you, something that can be defeated by sheer willpower. But the true nature of spiritual warfare is that temptation comes from within, manifesting as desires, distractions, and feelings that seek to pull your energy away from your divine calling. The temptation is not the desire itself. It is the way that desire can be misused, misunderstood, and allowed to control your actions rather than be channeled into your purpose. This is where mastery comes in. The real test is not whether you feel desire, it is how you handle it. For the chosen ones, every wave of desire, every surge of longing is an opportunity for transformation. The desire is not to be rejected or denied, but transmuted into something greater. You are not meant to suppress or ignore the fire that rises within you. You are meant to refine it, to transform it into a source of power that serves your higher mission. Desire is not the enemy, it is the energy you must learn to master. And it is in the moments of loneliness, boredom, and exhaustion that the real work begins. The challenge is to see the desire for what it truly is, an invitation, a call to rise above the surface-level cravings and connect with something deeper. It is easy to be caught up in the external distractions, the fleeting pleasures, the temporary gratifications. But the chosen ones are not called to live for these momentary escapes. They are called to master their desires, to channel that energy into something that aligns with their divine purpose. This is where the true test lies. It is not in giving in to temptation, but in learning to transmute it. Transmutation is the key. The process of transmuting desire into spiritual energy is not a rejection of the human experience, but a deeper understanding of it. It is the realization that your desires, while powerful, are not meant to control you. They are meant to guide you, to point you toward your higher self, to remind you of your divine mission. When you learn to transmute this desire, you will find that it no longer consumes you, but propels you toward your true calling. You will begin to see that your sexual desire, your longing for connection, is not a flaw, but a reflection of your deeper spiritual journey. The real power lies in your ability to focus this energy. It is in this focus, in this transmutation, that you discover your strength. Your desire becomes a tool, a force that you can channel to create, to build, and to manifest your divine purpose. Every time you choose to rise above the temptation to resist the distractions, you are refining your soul. You are transforming the raw, powerful energy of desire into something that serves you, that aligns with your divine mission. In this way, the desire becomes more than just a test. It becomes a path to self-mastery. The true challenge is not in resisting desire, but in learning how to use it to fuel your purpose. The chosen ones are not perfect. They are not free from desire or temptation, but they have learned to transmute that desire into power, to use it as a tool for their higher calling. And in this mastery, they step into their true potential, walking the path that was always meant for them. There is a fundamental difference between suppression and transmutation. For far too long, the world has taught us that to be holy, to be pure, we must suppress our desires, particularly our sexual ones. We are told that these desires are dirty, dangerous, and something to be fought against, hidden away, or eradicated. Suppression implies a denial of the very nature of our being. It tells us that our desires, our passions are wrong, something that needs to be buried deep inside, hidden from view and never spoken of. This approach feeds shame, resentment, and confusion, creating a constant internal struggle that only leads to a deeper disconnect from our true selves. But suppression is not the answer for the chosen ones. Repression is a defense mechanism, a way to create distance between ourselves and the power of our desires. But this does not bring freedom. It only keeps us trapped in a cycle of avoidance and guilt. The true path of the chosen ones is not about suppressing their desires, but about transmuting them. Transmutation is the process of transforming one form of energy into another, and in this case, transforming the powerful energy of desire into spiritual fuel. Rather than trying to escape or control it, the chosen ones are called to understand their desire, to harness it, and to direct it toward a higher purpose. Transmutation is not about rejecting the human experience or denying the natural cravings that come with being human. It is about acknowledging that desire exists for a reason, that it has a higher purpose. The sexual energy that pulses within us is not some random unholy force. It is a frequency, a powerful spiritual current that has the potential to fuel creation, clarity, and spiritual growth. When the chosen ones learn to transmute this energy, they understand that it is not something to be feared or rejected, but something to be channeled into their divine calling. They recognize that their desires are not a curse, but a gift, an invitation to rise into their full potential. In order to transmute desire, the chosen ones must first understand it. The battle with desire is not about avoiding it, but about embracing it with clarity and wisdom. It is about seeing the desire for what it truly is, a powerful force that, when directed toward the right purpose, becomes a tool for spiritual awakening and transformation. The challenge is not to suppress or avoid the desire, but to understand its energy and channel it in ways that align with one's higher calling. By mastering the energy of desire, the chosen ones unlock the power to create, to manifest, and to rise to the next level of spiritual awareness. This understanding of desire shifts the narrative entirely. Sexual desire is not a flaw to be fixed. It is a frequency to be attuned to. The chosen ones carry a unique ability to tune into this frequency, to use it for higher purposes. It is not about denying or repressing what is inherently human, but about refining it, elevating it, and redirecting it toward spiritual creation. When desire is understood as a frequency, it becomes clear that it has the potential to guide the chosen ones toward their divine mission. It is an energy that can fuel the path to clarity, creativity, and purpose, transforming what was once a source of struggle into a powerful ally in their spiritual journey. To transmute desire into a force for good, the chosen ones must be willing to face it head-on. They must not shy away from it, not run from it in fear or shame, but learn to stand in its presence, to acknowledge its power, and to redirect its energy with intention. This requires deep self-awareness, inner strength, and spiritual clarity. It is through this process of transmutation that the chosen ones learn to wield their desire as a tool of creation. Instead of allowing it to control them, they learn to control it, channeling its energy toward their divine purpose. Sexual desire is not inherently negative. It is not a flaw or something to be ashamed of. Instead, it is a part of the human experience that, when understood and channeled properly, becomes a potent force for spiritual clarity and creation. The chosen ones are uniquely equipped to carry this energy and use it in ways that align with their higher purpose. This is the divine mission they have been called to. They are not meant to live a life of repression or avoidance. They are meant to live a life of mastery, where their desires are no longer obstacles, but gateways to higher levels of spiritual power. In every moment of temptation, in every instance where the desire rises within them, the chosen ones are presented with an opportunity for growth. This is not a test of willpower alone, but a test of spiritual awareness. The real challenge is not about avoiding desire, but about channeling it for the highest good. This process of transmutation allows the chosen ones to create, to manifest, and to connect with the divine energy within themselves. By learning to direct their desire toward their spiritual purpose, they begin to understand the deeper meaning of their existence. They realize that their desires are not separate from their divine calling, they are a part of it. The chosen ones are not simply human beings, they are divine vessels, capable of carrying the powerful energy of sexual desire and transmuting it into spiritual power. This is their unique gift, and it is the key to unlocking their higher potential. The energy that once seemed like a burden is now recognized as a sacred current, a tool for creation and spiritual awakening. As the chosen ones learn to refine and direct this energy, they step into their true power. They become the masters of their desires, using them to fuel their divine mission and create the life they were always meant to lead. Transmutation is the path to mastery. It is the way in which the chosen ones take the raw, powerful energy of their desires and transform it into a force for good. It is through this process that they rise into their true purpose, stepping fully into the divine calling that has been placed within them. By transmuting desire, the chosen ones not only reclaim their power, but also align themselves with the divine flow of creation, bringing clarity, purpose, and light into their lives and the world around them. The path of the chosen one is not one of ease. It is not a smooth, straightforward journey free from obstacles and distractions. Rather, it is a path fraught with temptations, illusions, and distractions designed to derail the chosen one from their divine mission. These distractions come in many forms, subtle, insidious, and often hard to recognize until they have already begun to drain the chosen one's energy. They do not come in the form of overt, obvious temptations, but rather in the quiet moments of everyday life, when the spirit is tired, the mind is wandering, and the focus is weak. In these moments, the enemy, which can be seen as the force that seeks to divert the chosen one from their higher purpose, strikes. The distractions, the temptations, and the illusions are all part of a strategy designed to prevent the chosen one from realizing their true power and purpose. The enemy does not target those who are weak or lost. It targets those who carry light, those who are meant to shine, those who are called to a higher mission. It understands that if the chosen one awakens fully to their divine power, they will become unstoppable. So the strategy is to wear them down bit by bit, moment by moment. The distractions are subtle, designed not to destroy the chosen one outright, but to slowly divert their energy, gradually pulling them away from their higher calling. These distractions could take the form of fleeting pleasures, unnecessary attachments, or mindless routines that drain the chosen one's spiritual energy without them even realizing it. They come in the form of external noise, the demands of the world that beg for attention, but do not serve the chosen one's true purpose. In this battle, the distractions are not meant to take down the chosen one in a single blow. Instead, they are a slow drain on energy, tiny leaks in the spiritual vessel that over time can empty it completely. The world, with its constant pull, offers countless distractions that promise temporary relief, but ultimately leave the chosen one feeling empty, restless, and disconnected from their true purpose. The more the chosen one succumbs to these distractions, the further they are pushed away from their center, from their true self, and from the divine energy that is meant to guide them. The distractions are designed to do one thing: to keep the chosen one from realizing their full potential. They are meant to keep the chosen one in a constant state of confusion and fog, where their energy is scattered, their focus is divided, and their purpose is unclear. The enemy knows that when the chosen one's attention is diverted, when their energy is drained by external forces, they lose their spiritual power. This is the real danger, the slow, insidious loss of clarity. Without clarity, the chosen one cannot see their true purpose, cannot hear their inner guidance, and cannot tap into the divine flow that is meant to guide them. This is why the distractions are so dangerous. They do not immediately cause chaos or destruction. They simply prevent the chosen one from realizing the power that lies within. But here is the key: the moment the chosen one awakens to the power of their desire, to the sacred fire that burns within them, everything changes. This awakening is not just an intellectual understanding, it is a spiritual awakening. When the chosen one begins to see their desires not as distractions or temptations to be avoided, but as sacred energy to be transmuted, they begin to reclaim their power. They rise in vibration, their frequency aligns with their divine purpose, and they become more focused, more centered, and more attuned to the divine flow. This awakening is a turning point, a moment of clarity. The distractions that once seemed so enticing, so powerful, begin to lose their grip. The temptations which once pulled the chosen one in every direction lose their allure. When the chosen one awakens to the true nature of their desire, they understand that it is not something to be avoided, but something to be mastered. This understanding clears the fog, dispels the illusions, and brings the chosen one back to their center. In this moment, they realize that their true power lies not in avoiding their desire, but in channeling it toward their higher purpose. The enemy's strategy is not to destroy the chosen one, but to distract them from their true calling. It is a strategy that thrives on confusion, on scattering the chosen one's focus, and on draining their energy. But once the chosen one awakens to the sacred nature of their desire and begins to transmute it into spiritual power, the distractions lose their power. The chosen one begins to rise, their vibration becomes higher, and they become more aligned with their true purpose. This shift is not just external, it is internal. The chosen one no longer chases after fleeting distractions. They no longer seek temporary relief because they understand that the only true source of fulfillment lies in aligning with their divine mission. This clarity allows the chosen one to protect their focus from outside distractions. They no longer feel pulled in 1,000 directions by the demands of the world. They learn to say no to things that do not serve their higher purpose, to block out the noise, and to stay grounded in their mission. This protection of focus is the key to spiritual mastery. The more the chosen one learns to protect their energy, the more they strengthen their spiritual power. They begin to understand that their true purpose is not to please others, not to conform to the expectations of the world, but to follow the divine guidance that flows through them. The power of clarity is that it cuts through the distractions, revealing the truth of the path ahead. It illuminates the way forward and allows the chosen one to move with purpose, with focus, and with intention. The distractions that once seemed so alluring no longer hold any sway, because the chosen one knows where their true power lies. It is not in external approval, it is not in fleeting pleasures, but in the sacred fire within them, the desire to live in alignment with their higher self. In this space of clarity, the chosen one becomes unstoppable. Their energy is focused, their purpose is clear, and their power is fully realized. The distractions that once seemed to drain their energy now have no hold on them. They rise above them, no longer swayed by the illusions of the world. And in this rise, they reclaim their true power, the power to create, to manifest, and to walk fully in their divine purpose. The moment the chosen one awakens to the truth of their desire and channels it into their mission, they begin to shine with a light that the world cannot ignore. This is the power of clarity, the power of spiritual focus, and the power of the chosen ones who refuse to be distracted from their true calling. Sexual desire is often misunderstood. In the eyes of the world, it is viewed as a purely biological impulse, something that must be tamed or suppressed to maintain spiritual purity. But for the chosen ones, this desire is not simply a base urge, it is sacred voltage, a divine energy that pulses through the body, meant to be honored, protected, and channeled for a higher purpose. This energy is not here to diminish you, it is here to elevate you. It is not a weakness to be feared, but a force to be respected, a source of immense spiritual power. To understand this is to begin unlocking the potential of this sacred fire, transforming it from a source of struggle into a tool for divine creation. The desire that rises within you, the intensity that sometimes feels overwhelming, is not a sign of impurity. It is a reflection of your spiritual calling. Just as fire can destroy, it can also create, illuminate, and purify. The sacred fire of desire, when understood and channeled correctly, becomes the most powerful source of spiritual energy you can tap into. It is a force that has been placed within you for a reason, to fuel your purpose, to guide you toward your higher self, and to align you with the divine mission that is uniquely yours. This fire is not meant to consume you, nor to drag you down into the depths of confusion. It is meant to light the way, to fuel the journey, and to guide you towards spiritual mastery. In the journey of the chosen, the real enemy is not the desire itself. The true enemy lies in the strategy that seeks to waste this sacred energy, to keep you distracted, disillusioned, and disconnected from your higher purpose. The world, with its countless distractions, temptations, and illusions, works tirelessly to dilute the potency of your desire, convincing you that it is something that should be avoided or extinguished. It tells you that your desire is a flaw, a weakness that must be hidden away, ashamed of its very existence. But in doing so, the world keeps you from recognizing the divine nature of this energy, from understanding that your sexual desire is not just a physical urge, but a key to unlocking your highest spiritual potential. The enemy works by planting seeds of doubt, by creating distractions that pull your attention away from your true calling. It tries to convince you that your desires are wrong, that they must be suppressed or denied, or that they should be satisfied by empty, fleeting pleasures. This strategy is subtle, insidious, and deeply ingrained in the fabric of society. But for the chosen ones, the awakening comes when they realize the truth. The enemy's real goal is not to stop you from desiring, but to keep you from channeling that desire into its divine purpose. The enemy knows that if it can keep you distracted, disconnected, and misled, you will never tap into the true power that lies within you. It is a strategy designed to drain your energy slowly, to make you believe that your desire is something to be ashamed of, rather than something to be honored and transmuted into divine fuel. Once you begin to see your desire for what it truly is, a sacred energy that has been placed within you for a divine purpose, you begin to reclaim your power. The shift occurs when you stop running from your desire and start embracing it as a tool for spiritual growth. This desire is not a threat. It is an invitation. It is the energy that can fuel your divine mission, your creative power, and your spiritual ascension. The more you learn to honor it, the more you learn to protect it and channel it in alignment with your true calling, the more it strengthens your connection to your higher self. It becomes the energy that propels you forward, that guides you in moments of confusion, that inspires you to rise above the worldly distractions that once held you back. This is the power of mastering your desire. It becomes a source of spiritual energy that fuels your journey. Rather than being a force that pulls you off course, it becomes the energy that propels you onto the path of purpose. When you stop allowing your desire to control you and instead learn to control your desire, you unlock the power to create, to manifest, and to align yourself with your divine mission. This fire, which once seemed like a burden, becomes the very thing that guides you, the energy that powers your purpose, and the force that drives you toward your highest potential. The key to unlocking the power of your sacred fire lies in your ability to transmute this energy. Rather than seeking satisfaction from fleeting worldly pleasures, the chosen ones learn to redirect this desire toward their divine mission. Every time you feel the pull of desire, every time you feel the surge of energy, you have the opportunity to choose. Will you allow this fire to consume you, or will you channel it into something higher? When you choose the latter, when you choose to transmute this energy into spiritual creation, you tap into a limitless source of power that can guide you toward your true calling. The world may try to convince you that this sacred fire is something to be suppressed, hidden, or eradicated. But the truth is that your desire is not the enemy. It is the very force that connects you to the divine, that fuels your purpose, and that guides you towards spiritual clarity. The enemy's strategy is to distract you, to make you believe that your desire is something shameful, something that must be buried. But when you begin to understand your desire as sacred voltage, something that can be honored and channeled for divine purpose, you break free from the distractions and illusions that once held you captive. The chosen ones are meant to walk a path that others cannot follow. They are called to carry this sacred fire, to honor it, protect it, and use it for spiritual creation. When you learn to master this desire, when you learn to channel it toward your divine purpose, you rise above the distractions, above the temptations, and above the illusions. You become a force of spiritual energy, radiating clarity, power, and divine purpose. Your desire becomes a sacred fuel, propelling you toward your highest potential and aligning you with the divine mission that was always meant for you. As you rise in this understanding, you no longer feel the need to run from your desire. Instead, you walk with it, understanding that it is not a burden, but a gift. It is the divine spark that connects you to the very energy of creation. And in mastering it, you step into your true power, no longer distracted by the noise of the world, but focused, clear, and fully aligned with your highest purpose. The journey of mastering sexual desire is one of transformation. It is not about achieving perfection, but about embracing awareness, exercising self-control, and aligning with the divine. The chosen ones are not called to live perfect lives free of temptation or desire, but to recognize the power inherent in their desires and learn to channel them for a higher purpose. The true test is not whether the desire arises, that is part of the human experience, but how the chosen ones respond to it. This is where the transformative power lies. The journey toward mastering sexual desire is one of deep self-awareness. It is about recognizing the sacred nature of the energy within and using it as a tool for spiritual growth, creativity, and divine alignment. In this journey, perfection is not the goal. Instead, the chosen ones learn that their desires, far from being weaknesses or flaws, are vital parts of their spiritual makeup. They are signs, beacons, illuminating the path to their true calling. The fire of desire is not something to be feared or repressed, but something to be respected and understood. It is a signal, a clear indication that the chosen ones are meant for something greater. This fire within is the divine spark placed in them to help them break free from generational patterns, to rise above the constraints of the past, and to fulfill a higher purpose that extends beyond themselves. It is not a burden to carry. It is a responsibility to honor and use for the good of their divine mission. The fire within you, chosen one, is not a source of shame or guilt. It is proof of your divine purpose. It is a signal that you have been chosen for a unique mission, one that requires strength, wisdom, and the ability to master the sacred energy flowing through you. This desire, this sacred flame, is not a test of your worth, but a call to your higher purpose. It is here to guide you, to show you the depth of your inner power, and to illuminate the path that leads you toward spiritual mastery. Every time you resist the urge to let desire control you, every time you transmute that desire into something higher, you are aligning more fully with your divine mission. You are embodying the strength and mastery that have been placed within you. The chosen ones are not meant to suppress their desires. Instead, they are called to embrace them as part of their spiritual journey. Your desires, when understood and channeled correctly, can become a force for creation, transformation, and divine alignment. They are not meant to hinder your progress. They are meant to propel you forward, helping you rise above the distractions of the world and connect with your higher self. The power lies not in denying or suppressing desire, but in learning to transmute it into spiritual energy that fuels your purpose and clears the way for your divine mission. It is important to remember that the fire within you is not an obstacle. It is a divine gift, a tool placed within you to help you break free from the limitations of the past and fulfill your higher calling. The desire that you feel is not a curse. It is the divine spark that connects you to the creative force of the universe, giving you the power to manifest your dreams, to bring clarity to your path, and to awaken the potential that lies dormant within you. This fire, when harnessed correctly, can fuel your journey towards spiritual awakening and mastery. It is not something to be feared, but something to be understood, honored, and used for the greater good. For the chosen ones, embracing their desire is not just about personal fulfillment. It is about fulfilling their divine mission. This desire is part of your divine blueprint, and it is meant to guide you toward the life you were always meant to live. When you transmute your desire into power, you step into your true potential. You align with the divine flow, unlocking the creative energy within you that propels you toward your purpose. Every time you transmute your desire, you become more connected to your spiritual essence. You begin to understand that your desire is not just about physical satisfaction. It is about spiritual creation, about manifesting your divine mission in the world. The process of transmutation is not easy, but it is the key to unlocking your power. Every time you master the urge to give in to distractions, every time you choose to align your desire with your higher purpose, you rise in vibration. You move closer to the divine, becoming more attuned to the sacred energy that flows through you. The more you learn to transmute desire, the more you tap into the unlimited potential that lies within. This is the path to spiritual mastery, the ability to take the raw energy of desire and turn it into something higher, something divine. The more you embrace this process, the more you will step into your true calling and the purpose that has been placed within you. As you learn to master your desire, you will also learn to live with purpose, clarity, and spiritual mastery. You will no longer be driven by fleeting impulses or temporary distractions. You will become more aligned with your higher self, more attuned to the divine flow that guides you. Your desire will no longer control you. Instead, you will control it, using it as a tool to fuel your mission and elevate your spiritual path. The distractions of the world will lose their power over you, and you will walk with confidence, clarity, and purpose, knowing that you are aligned with your true calling. So, chosen one, embrace your desire. Do not fear it. Do not repress it. Understand it. Honor it. Transmute it. And as you do, you will discover the power that lies within you, the divine energy that has been placed in you to fulfill your higher purpose. The fire within you is not a burden. It is a sign of your divine mission, a signal that you are meant for something greater. Embrace the journey of mastery, knowing that with every step you take, you are becoming more aligned with your purpose, your higher self, and the divine flow that guides you. You were born for this. You were born to transmute your desires into power, to live with clarity, and to walk in spiritual mastery. Your time has come.